A teapot has to look like a teapot, but it's got to work like a teapot. A lot of makers consider that as the secondary, but it's so important, almost on par with the aesthetics. It's got to have both. Otherwise, it becomes for me a dead object. A maker is someone that makes. I was trained as craftsman. There's several processes where there's the thinking, there's the designing, there's the manufacturing or the making. I'm very passionate about my work. You have to be passionate about your work. Otherwise, you're almost faking it. My name is Kenny of Studiokyss, and I am an object maker based in Sydney. I was born in South Korea, so we came here in '96 when I was at 8. I always enjoyed making as a kid, building things. That was something that just came naturally because that's something that I enjoyed as a hobby. A lot of my work is predominantly hand fabrication work, so using hand tools to shape, bend. Most of it happened on the jeweler's bench. Next to it, there's a soldering station. I think the aura of something that is crafted has a different aura to something that is just purely machined. I think to the other makers, we have the responsibility to educate people that don't know as much. For crafts to survive, we can only do that by reviving these traditional techniques. And my parents always quite strong about me not forgetting the Korean cultural aspect or traditions. I wanted to go back as an adult and I wanted to use this time to learn something. So I saw this as a good opportunity. I was finishing my master's, started looking into different scholarships and grants, and I was introduced to Songjun Cho, who's now my master or mentor. He's a designated Korean metal craftsman. We were complete different people from different generations. If you want to learn something, this is the guy. We set this program for me to go to Korea for about 6 months, an intense program every day, 6 days a week. So I was learning traditional skills, Korean metalcraft skills. The time that I spent with him, I think shapes pretty much 90% of what I do, what I produce, and how I think in and around my work and practice, and even life to an extent. My parents have been in the hospitality scene and they were looking for a new place. We said to them, we'll help you set up the business, but just got too busy. We just got too involved, and 6 years on, we're still there. Sang is a Korean restaurant specializing in Korean cuisine. Sang literally translates into the table in Korean. So we wanted to provide a restaurant like they're coming into someone's place and trying or experiencing all things Korean. People might not notice things that are made by me within the restaurant, but when they do, it gives that little bit of joy to them. I love things that don't stand out, but it's subtle kind of beauty. Few pieces, there's pendants, like the light pendants, some of the spoons that we use, these trays and weights that go out with the bill, and things that decorate the place like the vases. I create objects and things that interact with people and that I hope give that extra little bit of useful joy. The workshop overlooks a small stream that is an offshoot of Georges River. Over the years, I've shared workshops, worked with different people, but I think I work best on my own and when there's peace. I actually don't even listen to music when I'm working because I see that as a bit of a disturbance, and I like that peace, and I like to hear what I'm doing as well. So the sound that the tools make can also tell whether you're doing something right by the sound. If it's new work, often it starts off not working with the tools at all, just working with cardboard. I'm constructing models, so paper models. A lot of what I do utilize my own tools in order to either be more effective with that particular process or do something that actually can't be done quite easily because there's no tools available. Some of the techniques that I learned are traditional Korean techniques. I needed to find a way of being honest with this traditional technique, so doing it properly but translating it in a way where it makes sense to the modern space, something that can be seen within the contemporary house. If you turn these rituals into a process where you start to enjoy just that little bit more, my understanding is the life becomes just that little bit more valuable